What's up? I'm Troubleshoot. It's Thursday, the 25th of September. Let's have a look at this week's brand new Rust skins, check them out in game, and of course, speculate about price to see where things will be going. Without further ado, let's begin. This time, I thought I'd show you in game. Everything here is in South African rands, so I'll translate them quickly. At the very top, the Abyss M39 for $2.50 is this beautiful gun. Over here, we'll have a look again at all of these closer up in game. Then for $2.50 once more, the All-Seeing Eye Garage Door and the Fold MP5, all for $2.50. This one's quite shiny. Then next up, the Grub DBS for $1.99, the Nuke Vibe AR for $2.50, Pixel Wooden Double Door, $2.50 again, Sinotype Explosives, surprise surprise, $2.50, Small Meds Box, $1.50, Temple Chestplate, and Temple Facemask, both for $1.99, and finally, the Fallen Boots for $1. Let's have a look at all of these in game, as this isn't a true representation. So, flicking over into the game, let's have a look at the armor first, starting off with, of course, the Temple Facemask and Chestplate. You've seen the doors before, things like that. These, I'm pretty sure, are the first bits of wearables that we've seen from the Temple set, building on the doors and things like that. Obviously, we've got the same sort of stony texture with the same fearsome Aztec beast drawn upon it, with a bunch of moss and things like that. Obviously not the freshest armor, but at least it is a very nice light green color, meaning that this is going to be a pretty good option for a cheap camo kit when it comes to forest, and of course just anything green, which of course is anything but the desert and the snow. Overall, just based off of that, I really do like the OP-ness of it. Scratch that. I do like how good it is, camouflage-wise, in that you'll hide very well from grass, trees, things like that. And of course, when the rest of the set comes out, I assume it'll be going the same way, especially if we find a shirt and pants. If those do come around, things might get even more exciting. Then moving down from there, the Fallen Boots for just $1 are of course building on the Fallen set. Yet again, we've got a spine leading to a skull with teeth, a bunch of ribs and bones lying around. And of course, you can see this same nice, bloody, meaty sock that we've got our feet stuck into. Definitely not the best thing to be thinking about, but if you're already collecting the Fallen set or just the Funerary set where you've got a whole bony theme going on, this really detailed cracked bone texture might be something really cool to add to that collection, especially if you're leading a clan or something like that. Pretty threatening. Before we do anything, obviously all of these armor pieces, chestplate, face mask, and shoes, none of them glow, which is great to see. Then moving on from clothing, let's have a look at the different weapons this week. And of course, starting off at the very top, we've got the Abyss M39 for $2.50. This mythical purple and black beast does look pretty threatening, like it crawled straight out of the End, or of course, the Black Ops universe. Pretty threatening, of course, very Ender Dragon-y-like. And I really do like the mystical purple color to it, which I assume would glow at night, but actually it doesn't at all, which is great to see. I can see the skin creator adding some nice purpley glowy effects. While it may be pretty cool, obviously it would completely slash this item's usability. And of course, as you can see, this M39 is a short variant as well, which if we compare to the original, you can see the entire back stock is missing. As for the rest of it, I don't think there's too much that's been changed, which is nice to see. It's mostly stock, and I don't think we've seen too many short M39 skins up to this point, so that's also a pretty cool spot. And down at the bottom here, you can see the entire magazine and handguard / grip here is all this beautiful purpley blue color, which I really am a fan of. Highly detailed, a bunch of angry teeth, actually pretty cool. If we have a look from the first person here, again, you can see it, and we can actually see the entire gun on screen, which is, again, quite surprising, as this is a short variant. If we scope in here, everything looks pretty much default, and if we compare it 1-to-1, yep, absolutely nothing's been removed. So, if we flick over to nighttime once more, having a look, this purple front iron sight is, sadly, completely invisible. You'll only have the slight illumination that you get when things are close to you, and besides that, nothing. I'd like to see the front iron sight being a little bit brighter, making it slightly easier to see at night, but of course, they've gone for this darker purple color, so we don't actually see anything, which is a little bit sad. Then from here, moving on, the Fold MP5 for $2.50 is this beautiful light blue / light purple color. maybe a lilac or something like that, with this frosted crack or tremor spreading through it, which I think does look pretty unique, but obviously it's more of a grey skin from afar with a bit more red when it comes to reflecting the ground, or at least what I assume is supposed to be the ground. If we're standing anywhere else, we still get that odd red reflection or something from the ground, which I guess is just part of the skin in that it's like a coppery underside. Not too sure what's going on there. But besides that small oddity, it's not a terrible looking skin, even though the texture does slightly remind me of Valorant / other similar games where it doesn't really look super well defined. It's just sort of hammered out, and I don't know, just gives me that kind of vibe. Having a look from the first person here, it's mostly just silver, which is nice to see. The darker underside, I guess, sort of shows as a shadow, and of course, the crack that goes through it is somewhat interesting to look at. Not too sure what it's supposed to be though. If we scope in here, it is mostly default, as you can see here. It's just sort of smoothed out, which I guess is nice to see, and we do have a nice red front iron sight, which if we flick over to nighttime, is again sadly completely invisible. Would be nice to have this just a little bit brighter. As for emissions, there's nothing on this nor the previous skin that would show you at nighttime, so it's pretty good to use all day round. Then from there, the Grub DB is obviously, as you would think, made of this weird animally buggy type color and texture that I guess is pretty much just a grub. It looks like, I guess, armored bits on a little bug or something like that. It really is a little bit disgusting to look at with these weird wet bits at the front. Definitely not too sure what any of this is supposed to be. I guess it's just sort of this coppery color, which would not really be too invisible. Maybe on the forest floor, you'd blend in a bit there, but otherwise, I don't know. I just don't like how this thing looks. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. Not my favorite at all. If we have a look at the first-person view here, it's more of a nice gold color with this bug spreading its wings at the back, two people behind it, and these two grubs here. Obviously, if you're going to be grubbing, this does suit the name, but as for the look, I don't know, this thing is just disgusting to hold. And of course, having a look down the iron side here, flicking over to nighttime, you're probably going to be using this close range right in front of a door anyways. You can barely make out the front iron sight, but besides that, if you're grubbing, you're literally going to be invisible, which is good to see. You'll blend in with the ground of, say, forest floors and things like that, but for everywhere else, it's just a nice dark color. As long as you're hiding in the shadows, you should probably be fine with this. Overall, yeah, it's a pretty disgusting skin. I'm not a huge fan, but hey, maybe you like it more than I do. Then the final weapon from here is the Nuke Vibe AR. We've seen doors, garage doors, and now we've got this AR over here. While this is part of the Nuke Vibe collection, we haven't seen a wearable or holdable item. This is the first one of its kind. We've only seen the garage door and sheet metal door before. So this is pretty cool to see. Again, we've got the same exact Nuke Vibe artwork, nuclear symbol in the back, and of course the same zombified nuclear hazmat across this as we've seen a couple of times before. Obviously, if you're a fan of those, this is a pretty cool one to see. And if we flick over to nighttime, nothing seems to glow here. So again, it's a safe choice for that too. Flicking over to first person, here you go. It's the short AR variant. Looks about the same. Obviously, if you're a fan of the artwork, you can now take it with you wherever you go. And of course, having a look down the iron sights here, nothing is trimmed off. It's mostly stock. And this yellow color might be more visible at nighttime with a nice red front iron sight. But if we flick over, it seems to vanish just as much as anything else, which is a little bit sad. Overall, again, no emissions, would be pretty good to use at nighttime. Then moving on from here, we've only got buildables left. So starting off with these, we've actually got two doors this time, starting off with the all-seeing eye garage door for $2.50. While both of these doors are $2.50, this garage door is actually pretty well detailed. I like the noisy texture and the same golden highlights and things like that. Does look pretty cool, like it might be straight out of the Dune universe or something similar. The noisy texture, I don't think we've seen too much of before in Rust. It adds just a bit more photorealism / interesting feeling to the texture / color, which is nice to see. And of course, flicking over to nighttime, this eye, as you'd think, does actually glow in the dark. The rest of the black fan or whatever it is around the back completely vanishes, leaving just the eye, the ring around it, and of course, the bezel on the door here. Overall, a really sick looking garage door. I really do like how this looks, and the nice grainy, noisy texture, which I don't know how well you'll see. Maybe zooming in, and there you go. does actually look really cool when you're standing next to it. Looks like some sort of a render of sorts, which I definitely do like. Then for $250 again, we've got the Pixel wooden door adding to the long time running Pixel collection, and I again do like how this thing looks. Looks like it's been ripped straight out of a Minecraft clone of sorts. The door frame seems a little bit lower quality than I remember. Not too sure what's going on there. Has it always been that way? Yeah, it has. That's a little bit weird, but it adds a nice texture swap / game swap entirely to the usual wooden door texture that you've seen and come to love. I do like how it's made. It's very tasteful, very minimalistic, and of course if you're collecting the Pixel collection, it's a no-brainer. Definitely pretty cool. Not too sure what's happening with these two planks down here. That is actually very annoying. Having a look at the normal door, nothing's at the front, and at the back we've got the same thing here, so I have no idea what's going on there. The 3D actually does work pretty well here, which is nice to see. Didn't even think about that. But this at the front, it annoys the hell out of me, whatever that is. But moving on from there, before we do anything else, obviously this doesn't glow in the dark at all, which is nice to see. But we've also got yet another addition to the Sinotype collection. This week, it's the Sinotype Explosives. Again, the usual color swap and icon swap as we've seen with pretty much all of the Sinotype collection. If you're collecting it, you'll definitely be getting it. While it is titled the Explosives Sinotype, this is the boom box as it's got boom written on the side. There are all your rockets in there, C4, satchels, anything you can think of, obviously. And on the side, we've got this nice explosion caution icon, which is pretty cool to see. Flicking over to nighttime, again, this thing glows very nicely. I'm a huge fan of the purple and blue color, and yeah, overall, it's pretty cool. It's a no-brainer. I'm collecting this collection, as I'm sure many other people are, mostly for personal use, but of course, a lot of the skins that we've seen have gone up quite a bit in value, but we'll check on that in just a second. Then, from there, the final box, going down from $250 to just $150, is the small meds box. We've seen two small boxes from the same creator. This one's just a regular med box, and I'm sure we've seen a small med box from the Neon collection or something like that. That's also a small box, much like this. So if you haven't got one of those already, again, this is going to be a fantastic thing to add to your base. We haven't seen a diesel small box or fuel small box, but I'm pretty sure we've seen a meds small box before. Overall, the art style is pretty clean, pretty simplistic, nothing too crazy going on here. It's just a nice utility item, which I'm sure many people will find much value from. And with that, we've covered basically all of the Rust skins this week. Check them out in game. And of course, the only thing left to do is to speculate about price and where things might go in the future. Obviously, I'm no oracle. I can't predict anything, but I'll just be looking at similar items in the same collection, things like that, and making some broad guesstimations about where things might go in the future. Do your own research. If you're going to be buying these, buy them to play with them. And that's basically that. So let's have a look. Flicking over to Rust Help to check out this week's items, September 25th, obviously sorted as usual by most well selling to least. Starting off at the very top, the Sinotype Explosives box has sold just over 2,800 times, and I expect this number to go up a lot. Just about half of that, we've got the small meds box. Obviously, a ton of utility here, quite surprisingly. 1,400 trailing just behind it, the all-seeing eye garage door. I definitely do like how it looks. Again, a big fan. Then the Temple Facemask, 1.4, and Chestplate, about 1.4 as well. I definitely do think these are going to be much better to collect as they're a cheap green forest/green out set. Then the Fold MP5, 945 sales, definitely quite far behind. Abyss M39, 780, even further. Nuke Vibe AR, way down there at 600. Grub DBS, 500. It says modified sight, but I don't really think so. Fallen Boots, 522, and finally the Pixel wooden double door at 438, being the least well-selling item this week, which is pretty surprising. If we have a look at the different collections, obviously the Sinotype collection has been going for quite some time, and it's seen some great success. A couple of these items have actually lost value, the most recent ones, but the ones before those have been slowly gaining in price, and obviously as more people are collecting these to actually use, things might improve in the future. But as for immediate profit, recently we've seen these skins going down in value just after selling, mainly because of how many have been sold. The ones around 30k have seen a pretty good increase in price, but the rest of these well above 40 haven't seen the same luck. Only a few of these have been doing better than other ones. Not too sure why, but I guess it's just mainly popularity. Overall, I'm going to be getting it to play with. I'd probably recommend the same for you. Then the small meds box is part of the small props collection. for which we've seen the small fuel box and diesel box. Both of these have done fantastically. Obviously though, the small fuel box was the first one, so it sold quite a bit less. Small diesel box a little bit more, even though arguably people won't be collecting as much diesel. And finally, the small meds box, the one with the most or second most utility, I'd argue, is probably going to sell way more than the previous two, maybe combined. At least I'd think. Overall, I'll be playing this again to play with, and things have been looking good so far. Then the all-seeing eye garage door is just a garage door skin, not part of a collection. And if we have a look at other recent garage doors, we see a lot of red across the board. Obviously, a lot of these are Twitch drops, but the rest of these, released probably in the past few months, are nothing but red, besides the one or two that just got lucky. Overall, this thing's probably going to follow in the same direction. Only get it if you like how it looks. Otherwise, again, usually garage doors are skip. Then the Temple face mask and Chestplate are part of the Temple collection, for which you've seen the garage door satchel and sheet metal door. Obviously, as these are all completely unrelated to armor, these ones are all glowing as well. They haven't had too much success. However, these two here don't glow at all. They're a nice green color, which is fantastic to see. And I assume as soon as people catch on that this might be a discount green out set, hey, people might actually start buying these things up, which is great, especially if you're going to be selling them in the future. Obviously though, make your own educated decision. I personally will be getting these to play with and maybe an extra set, as they are going to be pretty good for camouflage. Then the Fault MP5 isn't part of a set, surprisingly, so we've only got other MP5 skins to go off of, and most of these again are a loss for basically all of the new items bar the Cybercore MP5, and that's basically that. Everything else is red across the board, so unless you like how this thing looks, it's probably a skip. Then the Abyss M39 is part of the Abyss collection, and one of the few M39 skins we've seen this far. We've seen a pretty good mix of buildables and wearables. It's really a hit and miss set. Most of the wearables have done pretty well. Most of the handheld weapons and things like that haven't seen the same success. Based off of the SAR, LR, and Thompson, I assume that this is going to be going in the same direction, meaning not very well. The Nuke Vibe AR is again part of the Nuke Vibe collection. We've seen these two doors before. Both of these have lost quite a bit of value. This is the first weapon in the set, so it's very difficult to tell where this will be going, but based on the general liking of the artwork, I assume things aren't going to be going too well. Then the Grub DB, not part of a collection. I personally think this thing looks absolutely disgusting, but if we have a look at other DB skins, again, most of these here have lost quite a bit of value. I assume the Crocker DB is the most similar looking one, in that it's dark brown/green. Yeah, nothing here has been doing too well except for the Bamboo Blaster, Black Cat DB, and that's basically that in recent times. Then the Fallen boots are part of the Fallen set. As you can see here, we've got the clothes and of course a basic road sign kit. We haven't got proper armor yet here. The kilt and helmet did do pretty well, so I assume maybe the normal metal pieces when they come out will see similar success. However, the underbits like the pants and hoodie haven't been doing too well, and I assume these boots are probably going to be following in the same direction as these, as they're not armor. But hey, again, get them if you're going to be playing with them. Finally, the Pixel wooden double door, the least well-selling item this week, is part of the Pixel collection, for which there's quite a few things. We've had a garage door, which has done fantastically. Sheet metal door, terrible. Pixel wooden door, terrible. So I assume it's probably going to be going in the same direction as this, which is, well, terrible to say the least. A lot of these have been losing quite a bit of their value, but I really do like how this set looks. Yeah, in fact, most of everything here is red. I assume you could probably pick this up, and maybe not straight after it goes on sale on the Steam market, but probably a week later for maybe a bit cheaper, which is sad to say. But yeah, with that, we've covered all the items this week, and again, the most usual explosive growth has been the Sinotype set, with the Sinotype Explosives box way outperforming every other item this week. This has been going on for, let's see, probably an hour or two at this point. But yeah, that's basically that. So hopefully you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. Mine's been Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all next time. Ciao.